Austin Perez, nice to meet you. I'm
Nice
Reed
to meet you.
Thomas. Do you prefer Mr. Perez or Austin?
Um, Either's fine.
Okay, cool. Nice to meet you. I'm working with the firm that represents Riley Winters, and we're just following up with his age discriminant suit that he believes led to his wrongful termination. We'd just like to get your side of it as being the editor in chief at TBD since I believe 2011 at some point. So why don't you just tell me where did you get your education at, and did you work anywhere before TBD?
Well, I got my degree in English at the University of North Dakota in 2000, and I received a nationwide award for journalism in 2005, and I ended up going to a culture magazine company in Philadelphia,
Oh,
and
how's that?
it was pretty good. Um, my editor in chief was Frances Leo at the time, and I did so good that once Frances Leo, she ended up getting a job at TBD as their editor in chief, and she wanted to be me to be her assistant. So I ended up going with them.
And you came over with Francis Leo, and you guys both left the same company and to come to TBD. Cool, cool. So how long did you work under her for?
A couple years until Shaw bought the company, and then the first meeting that Shaw had with all employees, Francis wasn't there anymore.
So I'm assuming you mean Sawyer Shaw, the new owner.
Yes.
What was it like working for him?
Um, he made our company a lot more profitable. I mean, he changed everything up quite a bit. I mean, we're making more money, but he's kind of like hard nosed. He fired a bunch of people when we got there. He changed the way we do our articles, so we're writing more articles. We're writing for younger people, and it was all online.
You said a lot there. I'm just gonna try to break it down.
Okay.
So you said he fired a ton of people. What type of people did he fire?
Um, Mainly everyone who he fired was I'd say um, 40 years or older.
Oh,
The older people in the company.
and did he ever have conversations with you or anyone else on why he fired these people?
Well, as soon as I found out that Francis was fired, he promoted me to editor in chief, and I ended up going to his office, and he wanted me to give an oral report on each of the writers, and they told me to give him a piece of their work, a sample of their work, how long they've been working, when they graduated, just basic stuff like that. But he only looked at all that information for about 2 minutes before he made up his decision.
So you prepared all this. It took you a while to prepare all this information. He
Mhm.
just kind of quickly looked at it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um,
He said we needed uh, like a fresh vision, like a new way of doing things.
what do you think he meant by that? Because you guys, in all circumstances, were a very successful article company.
Yeah, he just really saw that online viewers were tended to be millennials, and he thought that I don't know, since we're writing for younger people, we needed younger writers.
Were the older staff writers, were they attempting to adjust to the new writing style?
Um, I mean, the only one pretty much that was left was Riley Winter, and he definitely tried to adapt for
He
sure.
tried.
But most of them were fired.
We'll get to Riley shortly. You previously, a couple minutes ago, you said that he changed Sawyer Shaw when he took over. He fired people, and he also changed the writing style. What do you mean by that? He changed the writing style?
Well, we were writing before we are writing more intellectual pieces, and then we kind of switched that to more trendier, mainstream type, shorter pieces. They're shorter, they're quicker to read. Each writer before was writing like one article per week, and that changed to um, about 3 articles a week. And
So it wasn't as in depth of pieces, correct?
yeah, they used to be like 2,000 words long, and then they averaged like 600 words after that.
As editor in chief, did you have a say in any of that, or did you just co-sign with it
Shaw
all?
made all the decisions for sure.
He made them all. Okay. Um, so it's what year did you get promoted to editor in chief?
I believe it would have been the end of 2013, 2014.
2013.
As soon as he took over.
Right. Okay. Um, did you ever see the interactions between Sawyer Shaw and Riley Winters? Did they ever interact?
They never talked.
They didn't.
Ever.
Just via like text or electronic devices.
I heard about a couple of the emails they sent to each other. They seemed. I mean, it seemed like Shaw kind of tried to joke around a lot with Riley, but I think Riley took it as offensive, and I'm not quite too sure. Maybe it was on the line of being more offensive, I guess.
What type of jokes?
Just age jokes, like for Riley's birthday, we all put, we all gave her a card, and um, uh, he made like I think some kind of joke about her being like a dinosaur or something like that, some kind of mean joke like that.
And this was on her 50th birthday card?
I believe so, yeah.
Was she one of the last remaining writers that was above 42, age 42, roughly in there? Okay. You also mentioned that they had brief interactions between Sawyer Shaw and Riley Winter. What were the interactions between you and Riley then?
Me and Riley?
Yep.
Well, usually it was all positive, constructive interactions. Like one time, I asked Riley to do a little article on the top tweets of 2000. I believe it was 2014, 2015, and I mean, Riley didn't really have what I pictured for the article to be. So I ended up switching the article to someone else. Things like that, where I did, or her music article on Turntable. I edited that, and I approved of that.
When I'll stop you there. When you mentioned Turntable, and that was kind of the gray area that Riley had troubles with understanding as well. Can you just talk me through what happened with the article?
Well, Riley wrote an article criticizing TV. No, not TVD. Turntable Music, which is an online music company.
Mm-hmm.
They're our top advertiser right now, and I didn't think it was going to be a problem at all. But I guess that's my fault. I shouldn't have let her write an article criticizing our most important advertiser. But they weren't too happy about the article, I guess.
Were they upset with you, or were they upset with Riley?
They were upset with Riley.
As being an editor in chief, wouldn't it be your responsibility to oversee kind of those articles?
Correct.
Who normally, when I know you mentioned Francis Leo is also, but in your position there for several years, who normally took responsibility for poor articles?
It would always be the editor.
The editor in chief. And why do you think for this time that it was an issue, or why do you think the blame this time went to Riley, the author?
Sean may have just been using it to maybe justify his firing, I'm guessing.
It's interesting that for you and Francis Leo both took responsibility for the poor articles or not great articles, and so this one time that Riley took the blame for that's interesting.
Because I mean, I don't work there anymore. In 2016, my wife got a job that required us to move, so I told Shaw that I wouldn't be working there anymore. And he was really understanding and nice about it, and even offered for me to stay on their health insurance. But he ended up saying, I asked him why are you doing all this for me? I don't feel like I deserve all of this. I mean, he even gave me pretty good pay before I leave. He said it was for being a good sport about the Riley Winter thing. I don't know what that meant, but he also said if his lawyers were to contact me, I should talk to him.
Did they do any type of this thing for Francis Leo in her position? No. So why do you I know you quickly mentioned it, but why do you think that they wanted to offer you all this sort of deal when moving on, and specifically relate it back to Riley Winters?
maybe he either felt guilty or he was nervous to some extent.
Would you classify it as maybe buying your loyalty, or what would you classify that as potentially?
Um,
If it's not something that the company is accustomed to doing, it's just interesting that that's interesting they make exceptions for you this time.
I'd like to say it was because I was a good employee, but it
Okay.
was out of the ordinary.
Okay. Um, I digress a little bit, but let's chat about the environment at TBD after Sawyer Shaw took over. Was it a welcoming environment? Whereas everyone fitting
Um,
in.
After Shaw took over, it was all younger writers mostly. So it was more of a trendier social group, and people would crack jokes here and there. But everyone liked Riley. It's just he didn't really fit in as much as everyone else did, which isn't a problem. You don't have to be friends with everybody, with all your colleagues. But Riley tried, I guess, to.
Was Riley Winter still writing successful pieces, or
Oh yeah, they were still getting a bunch of views, a bunch of clicks. It's just it wasn't the style, I guess, that Shaw wanted.
did you talk to Shaw at all about the firing, or
I talked to Shaw about listening to me or compromising. Maybe we could work something out, but he said I had no say. I tried to talk to Sky Martin a couple of times about some of the I'd have like a couple of one exhibit had some critiques I made about Riley Winter and had some praisings, and I felt like it really understated my praisings for him and overstated my criticisms.
and this is like a performance review, is this annually
Mhm.
sort of deal? We'll have to get a copy of those and review those. So, with your opinion, I'll ask you a series of questions. With your opinion, do you think all the people that were terminated before Riley Winters, was it age based or was it performance based? In your opinion?
Mm. Can it be both?
Yeah, it certainly can for some people that if it's performance, then they got to go. But if it's age, it's a little bit different. With Riley Winters, is it your opinion that he was terminated because of performance based or age based?
It wasn't. It couldn't have been performance based because he was getting views, he was getting clicks on his article. It was whether it was just age discrimination. I don't know. I think it played a factor.
Okay.
Maybe criticism from Turntable played a factor into that too. But it wasn't. It couldn't have been.
Okay.
Riley was an amazing
Is the Turntable the only article that Riley ever went to under your time as editor in chief or assistant editor in chief? Is that the only article that he's ever struggled with?
Just the Twitter article as well.
Is typical is 2 articles or an article and maybe a little bit more? Is that normal for someone to get fired under?
I would say no.
Okay. Well, thank you, Austin Perez. You've been a delightful interviewer. I've enjoyed our conversations, and I look forward to meeting you again in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.